The hands on her back smelled like her husband's cologne. That was Rachel's last thought before someone pushed her, 7 months pregnant with twins, into a moving train. But this isn't a story about dying, it's about the impossible man who caught her mid-fall, a train conductor, a former Navy SEAL, and the father who abandoned her 24 years ago. What Rachel doesn't know yet is that the woman wearing her husband's cologne is his mistress, that there's a $1 million life insurance policy with her name on it, and that the man who saved her life is about to help her uncover a conspiracy that will shatter everything she thought she knew about love, trust, and family. This is a story about betrayal, survival, and a father's redemption. But most of all, it's about a woman who refused to stay down when someone tried to erase her. Stay with me, because what happens next will change everything. The hands came from behind. Hard, deliberate. Rachel Morrison's last thought before the platform edge disappeared was that her husband's cologne was all over whoever was pushing her toward the train. The expensive one. The $1,500 bottle he only wore for court. The scent surrounded her as hands pressed flat against her spine and shoved. Her body tilted forward. 7 months pregnant with twins. Center of gravity already off. No time to catch herself. No time to scream. Just the thought, sharp and clear. My babies. My babies. My babies. The world became sound. Metal screaming against metal. Brakes shrieking. The train was supposed to stop. It wasn't stopping fast enough. Heat blasted her face. Engine heat. Death heat. People shouting from behind. A woman screaming. Rachel's hands reached for something, anything. Her fingers scraped concrete as she fell. Then arms, strong arms around her waist, yanking her sideways. A body slamming into hers, rolling with her, taking the impact of the platform edge against broad shoulders. They tumbled together, her back hit the ground. The body shielded her belly, protected her babies. The train rushed past, 6 inches from her head, maybe less. The screaming stopped. Her screaming. She hadn't realized she was screaming. Don't move, a man's voice said, rough, commanding, close to her ear. Just breathe. You're okay. The babies are okay. Rachel did what every mother does in crisis. She checked for blood. Her hands shook so badly she couldn't tell if it was hers or his. Red everywhere. On her coat, on the concrete, on the man's hands. My babies, she whispered. Please, my babies. Paramedics are coming, the man said. I've got you. You're safe now. The crowd pressed closer, phones out, recording, always recording. Rachel tried to focus, tried to see the man who saved her, but her vision blurred. Shock, probably. Her medical training from those 2 years of nursing school kicked in. Shock, possible trauma. Check for bleeding, protect the pregnancy. Step back, someone shouted. Give them space. Footsteps running, radio static, EMT voices, professional, calm, taking over. The man who caught her pulled back. His head was bleeding, a gash across his forehead, deep. He waved away the paramedics trying to help him. I'm fine, he said. Help her. She's 7 months pregnant. Twins. Rachel's eyes finally focused. She saw his face. Time stopped. Not from the fall, not from the near death, from recognition. Impossible recognition. The conductor's uniform, Amtrak badge, name tag that read J. Sullivan, gray at his temples, lines around his eyes that hadn't been there 24 years ago. But the same eyes, the same jaw, the same voice she'd almost forgotten. Rachel, he said, whispered really. Rachel Sullivan. Her maiden name, a voice from childhood, from before her mother died. From before he left, Rachel tried to speak. Couldn't, her mouth open. Nothing came out. You know her? A paramedic asked, checking Rachel's pulse. Jack Sullivan stared at her. I'm her father. The platform spun, or maybe that was shock. Rachel let them load her onto the stretcher, let them check her vitals, let them talk over her about blood pressure and fetal monitoring and transport to County General. She heard Jack's voice giving information to the police, saw the woman who pushed her, running away through the crowd. Sunglasses, hat pulled low, But Rachel had smelled her. Brendan's cologne. That expensive $1,500 scent he claimed to wear only for himself. "Ma'am, do you know who pushed you?" A police officer leaned over the stretcher. Rachel's phone buzzed in her coat pocket. She didn't need to look. 17 missed calls, all from Brendan, her husband, who knew exactly where she'd be today, who knew her schedule, who knew about the rescheduled prenatal appointment at the clinic across from Union Station. "Mrs. Morrison," the officer pressed, "did you see who attacked you?" "No," Rachel said. Her voice sounded far away, underwater. "I didn't see." But she'd smelled. God help her, she'd smelled the truth. Jack Sullivan climbed into the ambulance with her, blood still streaming down his face. He sat on the bench opposite, hands gripping his knees like he needed to hold on to something solid. "Rachel," he said again, testing the word, testing if she'd respond. She didn't, couldn't. 24 years of silence, 24 years of abandonment, and he had been there, right there, when she needed him most. The paramedic pressed the stethoscope to Rachel's belly, searching for heartbeats. One, then two. Strong, fast, weave. "Both babies are stable," the paramedic said. "You got very lucky, ma'am." Lucky. Rachel almost laughed. Hysterical laughter that would have turned him on. The last thing she heard before the sedative pulled her under was Jack's voice. The same voice that used to read her bedtime stories. The same voice that said goodbye when she was 8 years old and never came back. "Hold on, sweetheart," he said. "You're stronger than you know. You're a Sullivan." Darkness, blissful, complete, beeping, steady, electronic. The sound pulled Rachel back to consciousness. Her eyes opened to fluorescent lights, hospital ceiling tiles, that antiseptic smell that meant trauma ward. She'd done her clinical rotation here a decade ago, before she met Brendan, before she quit nursing school because he said marketing paid better. "Hey," a hand on hers, warm, familiar. "You're awake." Nicole, her best friend's face swam into focus. Puffy eyes, mascara smeared. She'd been crying. "The babies?" Rachel's voice cracked. "Perfect. Both of them, strong heartbeats." Nicole squeezed her hand. "You scared the hell out of me. I was teaching second graders when Brendan called. I left finger paint everywhere." Rachel's free hand moved to her belly, round, solid, 2 sets of feet kicked against her palm. She started crying. Relief, terror, everything at once. "Where's Brendan?" Rachel asked. "On his way. He's been calling every 5 minutes." Nicole's voice carried something. An edge. "Rachel, what happened? They're saying someone pushed you." Rachel's mouth felt dry. She reached for the water cup on the side table. Nicole helped her sit up. The movement made her head spin. "I don't know," Rachel lied. "It happened so fast." "I knew that cologne. Brendan's $1,500 bottle. The one he said he bought for himself. She was wearing his cologne." The thought came sharp and clear. Undeniable. But saying it out loud made it real. Made it true. Made her marriage the lie she'd been pretending it wasn't. "The conductor saved you," Nicole said. "Did you see him? He dove off the train. Caught you mid-fall. They're calling him a hero." Rachel closed her eyes, saw his face again. Jack Sullivan, her father. The man who walked out 24 years ago and never looked back. "I saw him," Rachel said softly. "They want to interview him for the news. Human interest story. Train conductor saves pregnant woman. It's all over social media already." Nicole held up her phone. Someone filmed it. 30 million views in 3 hours. Rachel didn't want to see. Didn't want to watch herself almost die. Didn't want to see Jack Sullivan's face on every screen in America. "Where is he?" Rachel asked. "The conductor. Waiting outside. Hospital staff won't let him leave until they check that head wound. He keeps refusing treatment." Nicole paused. "He asked about you. Seems really concerned. You two know each other?" Before Rachel could answer, the door opened. Brendan rushed in. Perfectly styled hair. Expensive suit. Concern etched across his handsome face. The performance of a worried husband. Rachel watched him like she was seeing a stranger. "Thank God." Brendan came to her bedside, took her hand from Nicole, kissed her knuckles. I came as fast as I could. Traffic from downtown was impossible. You called 17 times, Rachel said. Flat, emotionless. Of course I did. My wife almost died. Brendan's voice hitched. The babies, are they okay? Both fine. Thank God, he repeated. His eyes swept over her, checking, assessing. What happened? The police said someone pushed you. There, that micro-expression. Before the question, tension in his doom. Not shock, not confusion. Something else, anticipation. Like he already knew the answer. Like he was testing if she knew. Rachel met his eyes. Did you tell anyone I'd be at Union Station today? What? No, why would I? Brendan frowned. Perfect confusion. Perfect innocence. Why are you asking me that? The police think someone knew my routine, Rachel said. Knew where I'd be. Sweetheart, you take the train to your appointments every week. Anyone could have noticed. Brendan stroked her hair. Gentle. Loving. You're in shock. Not thinking clearly. I'm not crazy. I know what I saw. The validation came from inside. From some part of Rachel that hadn't been gaslit into doubt. The part that still trusted her own perceptions. I need to talk to the conductor, Rachel said. The man who saved me. Of course, we should thank him. Brendan's smile didn't reach his eyes. After you rest, the doctor wants you monitored for 24 hours. I'll get him, Nicole said, standing. He's right outside. That's not necessary, Brendan started. But Nicole was already at the door, already calling down the hallway. Mr. Sullivan, she's asking for you. Jack Sullivan appeared in the doorway, white bandage across his forehead, still in his conductor's uniform, blood on his collar. His eyes found Rachel's, held them. How are you feeling? He asked. Alive, Rachel said, because of you. You did the hard part. You protected them. Jack gestured to her belly. Even falling, you turned to shield your babies. That's pure instinct, pure strength. Brendan stood, moved between the bed and Jack, subtle, territorial. I'm Brendan Morrison, Rachel's husband. He extended his hand. I can't thank you enough for what you did. Jack shook his hand, brief, professional. His eyes never left Rachel's face. Just doing what anyone would do, Jack said. Not anyone, Brendan insisted. The police said you dove from a moving train. That's extraordinary. Navy training, Jack said simply. Instinct takes over. Something passed between the two men. Some invisible tension Rachel couldn't name. Brendan's smile stayed fixed. Jack's expression remained neutral, but the air felt charged. Wrong. Rachel needs rest, Brendan said, dismissing Jack, taking control. Thank you again for your service. Miss Jack didn't move, didn't look away from Rachel. I'll be around, Jack said, if you need anything. Anything at all. He meant it. Rachel heard the promise underneath. The father who'd been absent finally present, finally here. Thank you, Rachel whispered. Jack nodded, turned, walked out. Brendan watched him go, jaw tight, expression unreadable. Strange guy, Brendan said lightly. Very intense, Rifoso. Nicole was watching Brendan the way you watch a puzzle missing pieces. I should let you rest, Nicole said, but I'm staying, camping out in the waiting room. You don't have to, Rachel said. I want to. Nicole's eyes cut to Brendan. I'll be right outside if you need me, anything, anytime. She left. The door clicked shut. Brendan sat on the edge of the bed, took Rachel's hand again. You scared me, he said softly. When I got that call, I thought I'd lost you. Rachel looked at their joined hands. Her wedding ring, white gold, small diamond. Not the ring she'd wanted. Brendan said practical made more sense. She pretended to sleep so she wouldn't have to talk to him. How many nights had she done that same thing? Lying in the dark, counting his breaths, waiting for him to fall asleep first so she wouldn't have to touch him, wouldn't have to pretend everything was fine. Sleep, sweetheart, Brendan said. I'll be right here. But his phone buzzed, once, twice, 3 times. He squeezed her hand. I need to take this, work emergency. I'll be right back. Rachel kept her eyes closed, heard him stand, heard the door open, heard his voice in the hallway, low, urgent. Not now, I said not now, we'll talk later. The door closed. Rachel opened her eyes, stared at the ceiling, at the beeping monitors, at the evidence of two lives growing inside her. Someone tried to kill her today. Someone wearing her husband's cologne. Someone who knew exactly where she'd be. Rachel's hand moved to her belly. To the babies kicking and turning, oblivious to the danger, trusting her to keep them safe. I will, she whispered to them. Whatever it takes. I'll keep you safe. Even if the danger was sleeping in her bed, wearing a wedding ring, calling her sweetheart while plotting her death. Morning came with hospital sounds, machines beeping, footsteps in corridors, medication carts rattling past. Rachel hadn't really slept, just closed her eyes and counted backwards from 100. 99, 98, 97. Her therapist taught her that, before she stopped going because Brendan said it was a waste of money. Brendan had left around midnight, court appearance he couldn't miss. Or that's what he said. Rachel watched him kiss her forehead, check his phone, and slip out the door. Relief flooded through her when he left. That should have told her everything. Nicole arrived at 7 with coffee and bagels from the place down the street. Technically not allowed, Nicole said, setting the bag on the rolling table. But the nurse on duty is Maria Chen from our kickboxing class. She looked the other way. You're a saint, Rachel said, reaching for the coffee. Decaf, obviously. And I brought the laptop you asked for. Nicole pulled it from her bag. Want to tell me why you need it? Rachel opened the laptop, started logging into her bank account. Her hands shook slightly. Rachel? Nicole sat in the visitor's chair. What's going on? And don't say nothing. I've known you since college. I know your nothing face. Rachel kept typing. Found the credit card statement, started scrolling. Nicole, someone pushed me yesterday, and they were wearing Brendan's cologne. Nicole went very still. His cologne. The expensive one. The one he says he bought for himself. Rachel's voice stayed steady, clinical, like discussing someone else's life. I told him this morning about the rescheduled appointment. Told him exactly where I'd be and when. Oh my God. And there's more. Rachel turned the laptop to face Nicole. Hotel charges. The Meridian downtown. 12 times in the last 4 months. We haven't stayed there together. Nicole leaned closer, looked at the screen. Her face went pale. Rachel. There's jewelry too. Purchased 3 months ago. $2,000 at Tiffany. I never got jewelry from Tiffany. Maybe it was a surprise. For your birthday? My birthday was last month. I got dinner at Olive Garden and a card. Rachel clicked to another screen. And look at this, life insurance. He increased the policy 8 weeks ago, right after we found out it was twins. The numbers glowed on the screen. $500,000, double indemnity for accidental death. $1 million if Rachel died in an accident. Nicole made a sound, small, shocked. Brendan wouldn't, Nicole started, then stopped. Honey, I've been biting my tongue for months. Rachel looked up. What? The late nights, the new cologne, the way he checks his phone constantly. Nicole's voice dropped. The way he talks to you sometimes, like you're not quite smart enough, not quite getting it. You noticed? I noticed. Your grandmother noticed. Hell, the mailman probably noticed. Nicole grabbed Rachel's hand. But you loved him. You wanted to believe. Rachel's eyes burned. She blinked hard. No crying, not yet. Still too much to process. There's more, Rachel said. I need you to check something for me. She opened Instagram on her phone, found Brendan's profile, scrolled through his followers. Look for anyone who works at his firm, women, mid-20s to early 30s. Nicole took the phone, started scrolling. 3 minutes later, she stopped. Ashley Keller, Nicole said, paralegal at Morrison and Blake, posted a lot about fitness, yoga, running. She kept scrolling, stopped again. Oh no, Rachel, look at this. The photo showed Ashley at a restaurant, the same restaurant where Rachel and Brendan had their anniversary last year. Caption, perfect night at my favorite spot. Another photo, coffee shop near Rachel's house, 2 miles from Rachel's gym, her doctor's office. All geotagged, all recent. She's been following you, Nicole whispered. Rachel's phone buzzed. Text from Brendan. How are you feeling? Sorry I had to leave. Big case. Love you. Rachel stared at the text, at the casual normalcy, the performance of marriage. Her mind filled with memories. Flooding, uncontrolled. 6 months ago, office holiday party. She'd gone to surprise Brendan. He'd been across the room talking to a young woman, pretty, blonde, laughing at something he said. When Rachel approached, they'd sprung apart. Too quickly, too guiltily. This is Ashley, Brendan had said smoothly. New paralegal, very talented. Ashley had shaken Rachel's hand, smiled. Your husband talks about you all the time. Rachel remembered thinking how nice she seemed, how professional. 3 months ago, Brendan suggesting Rachel should take it easy with the twin pregnancy. Maybe work from home, maybe not go to the gym so much, not take the train during rush hour. Isolating her, slowly, carefully. Last month, Ashley at the coffee shop near their house. Coincidence, Rachel had thought. The woman hadn't approached, just sat in the corner, watching. Rachel, Nicole's voice pulled her back. Are you okay? He told her, Rachel said. He told his mistress exactly where I'd be yesterday. The heart monitor's beep seemed to slow, slow, like time itself was stopping. Brendan returned at noon, brought flowers, pink roses, Rachel's favorite, or they used to be. How are my girls? Brendan asked cheerfully, setting the vase on the windowsill. We don't know what they are yet, Rachel said. I have a feeling, father's intuition. Brendan sat on the bed. The doctor says you can go home tomorrow. I've already arranged for a home health nurse, someone to help with monitoring. That's not necessary. Of course it is. You almost died yesterday. Brendan's hand moved to her belly, proprietary, possessive. We're taking every precaution. Rachel's skin crawled. She wanted to push his hand away, wanted to scream. Nicole appeared in the doorway. Sorry to interrupt. Rachel, your grandmother is here and someone else. Someone else? Brendan frowned. An elderly woman entered, 80 if she was a day, sharp blue eyes, silver hair in a neat bun. She moved with the confidence of someone who'd never doubted her right to be anywhere. Rachel Sullivan Morrison, the woman said. You look just like your mother. Rachel's breath caught. Grandma Margaret? In the flesh. Margaret Sullivan smiled, warm, real. And I brought someone you need to see. Jack Sullivan stepped into the doorway behind her. Brendan stood, territorial again. Mr. Sullivan, this is unexpected. Margaret called me, Jack said, eyes on Rachel. She told me what happened. Really happened. And what's that? Brendan's voice cooled. Professional lawyer mode, defensive. Someone tried to kill my daughter, Jack said simply, and they're going to try again. The room went electric. Brendan's mask slipped, just for a second. Surprise, then calculation, then back to confused concern. That's quite an accusation, Brendan said. Based on what evidence? Based on 25 years as a Navy SEAL, Jack said. I know what targeted violence looks like. Yesterday wasn't random. Margaret moved to Rachel's bedside, took her hand. Her grip was strong, steady. Your father never stopped protecting you, Margaret said, even from a distance, even when you didn't know it. Rachel looked at Jack, at the father who'd been absent, the father who'd missed everything, her graduation, her wedding, her life. You left, Rachel said, voice breaking. When I was 8 years old, Mom died and you just left. I did, Jack said. No excuses, no explanations, just fact. Worst mistake of my life every single day. Why? Because I was broken. PTSD from missions I can't talk about. Enemies I made. I thought distance would protect you. From my demons. From the people who wanted to hurt me. Jack's jaw tightened. I was wrong. I should have stayed. Should have fought through it. You should have, Rachel whispered. I know. Jack looked at Brendan. But I'm here now and I'm not leaving again. Brendan's phone buzzed. He glanced at it. His face changed, subtle. But Rachel caught it. Fear. Quickly masked. I should take this, Brendan said. Work emergency. He left, fast, door swinging shut behind him. Nicole looked at Margaret. Was that part of the plan? What plan? Rachel asked. Margaret smiled, conspiratorial. Your father and I did some digging last night. Very interesting things on social media. Very interesting security footage from the train station. Jack pulled out his phone, showed Rachel a photo. Enhanced. Zoomed in. The woman from the platform. Face partially visible. Young. Blonde. Same build as the woman in the Instagram photos. Ashley Keller, Rachel breathed. Your husband's paralegal, Jack confirmed. Filmed waiting on platform 9 for 45 minutes before you arrived. She wasn't catching a train. She was waiting for you. Rachel's hands went to her apparently. Protective. Instinctive. You know what the hardest part is? I understood. I'm pregnant with twins, and I understand wanting to protect them from everything, even yourself. The realization hit like a physical blow. Her father had left to protect her. Brendan was staying to kill her. Both men, both claiming to love her, both causing damage in opposite ways. What do I do? Rachel asked. First, you get better, get stronger. Jack's voice carried command. Military precision. Then we build a case. Evidence. Documentation. We prove what happened. And we keep you safe, Margaret added. No more being alone. No more trusting the wrong people. The door opened. A detective entered. Female, 40s, sharp eyes that missed nothing. Mrs. Morrison, I'm Detective Harris. I need to ask you some questions about yesterday. Rachel looked at Jack, at Margaret, at Nicole. I'm ready, Rachel said. I'm ready to tell the truth. Detective Harris set a recording device on the rolling table. This interview is voluntary. You can stop at any time. Do you understand? I understand, Rachel said. Tell me what happened yesterday. Start from the beginning. Rachel took a deep breath. The square breathing technique Jack had mentioned. In for 4. Hold for 4. Out for 4. Hold for 4. She'd looked it up last night on her phone. Navy SEAL stress management. I was waiting for the train to my prenatal appointment, Rachel began. The platform was crowded. Rush hour. I felt someone behind me. Too close, then hands on my back. Pushing hard. Did you see who pushed you? No, but I smelled something. Cologne, my husband's cologne, the expensive one. $1,500 a bottle. Detective Harris's pen paused. Your husband's cologne. I know how it sounds, Rachel said quickly, but I'm sure it's distinctive. Custom blend. He's the only person I know who wears it. Did your husband push you? No, but the person who did was wearing his scent. Rachel pulled up the Instagram photos on her phone. This is Ashley Keller. She works at my husband's law firm. Look at these posts, our anniversary restaurant, coffee shop near my house, my gym. She's been following me. Detective Harris took the phone, scrolled through slowly. Her expression didn't change, but her eyes sharpened. How long has this been going on? Months, I think. I didn't realize until now. Rachel opened the laptop, showed the credit card statements. Hotel charges. Jewelry I never received. He increased my life insurance 8 weeks ago. Double indemnity for accidental death. That's $1 million, Nicole added, if Rachel died in an accident. Detective Harris looked up. You're saying your husband is having an affair with Ashley Keller, and you believe they conspired to kill you. Saying it out loud made it real, made it true, made her marriage the lie she'd been living. Yes, Rachel said. I think that's exactly what happened. These are serious allegations, Mrs. Morrison. I'm aware. Rachel met the detective's eyes. I'm a marketing consultant. I analyze data, build patterns. This is a pattern. Jack stepped forward. I reviewed the security footage from the station. The attacker waited on platform 9 for 45 minutes. That's not random. That's targeted. And you are? Detective Harris asked. Jack Sullivan, Rachel's father. Jack showed his Amtrak ID. Also the conductor who pulled her from the tracks. I have 25 years military experience. I know what pre-planned violence looks like. Detective Harris studied Jack, assessing, calculating. The footage shows a woman in sunglasses and a hat, Harris said. Face partially obscured, but visible enough for identification. I'll need a formal statement from you, Mrs. Morrison, and I'll need to interview your husband. He doesn't know I suspect anything, Rachel said. He thinks I didn't see the attacker. Good, keep it that way. Harris stood. I'm opening an attempted murder investigation. In the meantime, don't be alone with your husband. Don't let him know you're gathering evidence. She won't be alone, Jack said firmly. I'll make sure of that. Margaret nodded. She's got family now, more family than she knows what to do with. After Detective Harris left, Rachel sagged back against the pillows. Exhaustion hit like a wave. Emotional, physical, complete. You should rest, Nicole said. Can't. Too much to think about. Rachel looked at Jack. Why did you really leave? 24 years ago, tell me the truth. Jack sat in the visitor chair, hands clasped between his knees. Margaret stood behind him, hand on his shoulder. I was part of SEAL Team 7, Jack said. Operations in the Middle East. Things went wrong on a mission. I lost men under my command. Good men. Friends. PTSD, Rachel said softly. Severe. I came home and I couldn't sleep. Couldn't function. Every loud noise was gunfire. Every shadow was an enemy. Jack's voice stayed steady, but his hands trembled slightly. Your mother tried to help, but I was drowning, pulling her down with me. So you left. So I left. Thought if I removed myself from the equation, you two would be safe. From my nightmares, from my anger, from the enemies I'd made overseas. Jack finally looked up, met her eyes. Your mother died 6 months later. Car accident. If I'd been there, if I'd been driving that night instead of her, you don't know that would have changed anything, Margaret said gently. I know I wasn't there. That's all that matters. Jack's voice broke. I missed everything, Rachel. Your childhood, your teenage years, your graduation. I thought I was protecting you, but I was just running away. Rachel's throat felt tight. Tears burned, but she blinked them back. I looked for you, she said, for years, tried to find you, but you didn't want to be found. I didn't think I deserved to be found. Jack leaned forward, but yesterday, seeing you fall, seeing you pregnant, vulnerable, something broke open in me. All the things I told myself about distance and protection. All lies. The only thing that matters is being there when it counts. You were there, Rachel whispered. You caught me. Barely. Another second, and I would have been too late. Jack's jaw tightened. But I'm not too late now. I can help you. Protect you, if you'll let me. Margaret squeezed Jack's shoulder. Your father has been following your life from a distance. I sent him photos, updates. He knew when you graduated college, when you got married, when you got pregnant. You knew. Rachel looked between them. All this time? I'm his mother, Margaret said simply, and your grandmother. I wasn't going to let either of you disappear completely, even if you were both too stubborn to reach out directly. Rachel started crying then. Not from fear, not from stress, from relief, from family she didn't know she still had. Jack moved to the bed, wrapped his arms around her, careful of her belly, of the monitors, of the IV line. I'm here now, he said. I'm not leaving again, no matter what. Rachel held on to her father for the first time in 24 years. The hospital released Rachel the next afternoon. Brendan arrived to drive her home, flowers in hand, concern on his face. The performance continued. Doctor says you need bed rest for at least a week, Brendan said, helping her into the car. I've arranged everything, home health nurse, grocery delivery. You won't have to lift a finger. Rachel nodded, played along. Thank you. Anything for you and the babies. Brendan pulled into traffic. That conductor, Sullivan. He called 3 times asking about you. Very persistent. He saved my life, Rachel said carefully. He's probably just concerned. Still, it's a bit much. I told the hospital not to give out your information anymore. Control. Always control. Brendan deciding who could contact her, who could visit, slowly cutting her off from everyone. Rachel looked out the window, at the city passing by, at the people going about normal lives, while hers hung by a thread. Her phone buzzed. Text from Nicole. Tail you home. Make sure you get there safe. 2 cars back. Gray Honda. Rachel glanced in the side mirror, saw Nicole's car, felt marginally safer. Another text from a number she didn't recognize. It's Dad. Nicole gave me your number. I'm following too. 3 cars back. Silver truck. You're not alone. Her father, who'd been absent for 24 years, now trailing her home to make sure she arrived safely. Rachel's hand moved to her belly. The twins kicked. But David's strong, oblivious to the danger surrounding them. What are you thinking about? Brendan asked. Baby names, Rachel lied. We should start deciding. Plenty of time for that. You just focus on resting. Brendan's hand moved to her knee, possessive. Everything's going to be fine, I promise. Rachel looked at his hand, at the wedding ring she'd placed there 5 years ago, when she'd believed in forever, when she'd trusted him completely. He told his mistress, exactly where I'd be. The thought came clear and cold. Undeniable truth. They pulled into the driveway of their house. Suburban. Nice. The life they'd built together, or the life Brendan had built around her. Slowly, carefully, a cage that looked like comfort. Home sweet home, Brendan said, smiling. Perfect. Let's get you inside. Rachel let him help her out. Let him support her up the walkway. Let him unlock the door and guide her to the couch. The house felt different now, foreign. Every corner held memories that felt tainted, every surface a lie. I'll make lunch, Brendan said. Then you should nap. Okay. He disappeared into the kitchen. Rachel heard him moving around, opening cabinets, running water, the normal sounds of domestic life. Her phone buzzed. Nicole, we're parked on the street, can see your front door, you're safe. Jack, I'm around back, checking perimeter, old habits, stay alert. Margaret, come to my house tomorrow when Brendan goes to work. We need to plan. Rachel closed her eyes, took deep breaths. The tears came despite her best efforts. Silent, hot, grieving for the marriage that never really existed, for the man she thought she'd married but never truly knew. She did what she always did when panic set in, counted backwards from 100, 99, 98, 97. Her therapist taught her that before she stopped going because Brendan said it was a waste of money. But maybe she'd find a new therapist. Maybe she'd start making her own decisions again. Maybe she'd remember who she was before Brendan told her who to be. Lunch is ready, Brendan called from the kitchen. Rachel wiped her eyes, stood carefully, walked toward the kitchen in her husband's voice. One more performance, one more day of pretending, until she had enough evidence, enough proof, enough strength to break free. The twins kicked again, harder this time. I know, Rachel whispered to them. I know. We're going to be okay, I promise. 3 days passed. Rachel played the role of recovering wife perfectly. She rested when Brendan said rest, ate when he said eat, smiled when he checked on her between conference calls, and she gathered evidence. While Brendan worked in his home office, Rachel pulled financial records, downloaded bank statements, screenshotted credit card charges, saved everything to a cloud account he didn't know about. The pattern became clearer. Hotel charges on days he claimed to work late, cash withdrawals before each charge, covering tracks, being careful, but not careful enough. On the 4th morning, Brendan left for an early court appearance, kissed Rachel's forehead, said he'd be back by afternoon. 10 minutes later, Nicole arrived with coffee and Margaret in tow. Coast clear, Nicole asked, checking the windows. He won't be back for hours, Rachel said. He has 3 depositions today. Margaret settled on the couch, pulled out a laptop. Your father and I have been busy, very busy. Jack arrived through the back door, still moving like a soldier, checking sight lines, making sure they were safe. What did you find? Rachel asked. Ashley Keller's social media going back 2 years, Nicole said, opening her laptop. Want to know when the affair started? Rachel's stomach twisted. When? 18 months ago. She posted about meeting someone special who makes my heart race. Next post is at that Italian restaurant on 5th Street. Our date night spot, Rachel whispered. Brendan took me there every month. Not just you, Nicole said grimly. Look at the timestamps. She was there the same nights, different tables, but watching. Margaret pulled up her own screen. Life insurance policy, filed 8 weeks ago, right after your gender reveal ultrasound confirmed twins. The one where Brendan seemed disappointed, Rachel remembered. He kept saying twins would be harder, more expensive, more payout if you died, Jack said bluntly. Double indemnity clause kicks in for accidental death. $1 million. Rachel's hands shook. She pressed them against her belly. The babies kicked, active, trusting her to keep them safe. There's more, Margaret said, hesitant, like she didn't want to share the next part. We pulled Brendan's phone records, the burner phone records. Burner phone? Purchased 6 months ago, registered to a fake name, but triangulated to the same cell towers as his primary phone. Jack pulled up a map. See these calls? All to Ashley Keller's number. Sometimes 10 times a day. Nicole scrolled through call logs. Here's one from 3 weeks ago. 42-minute conversation. Want to guess what they talked about? How to kill me, Rachel said, voice flat, emotionless, like discussing the weather. Maybe. Probably. Jack zoomed in on a specific date. This is from the day before the train attack. Brendan's burner phone pinged off a tower near your doctor's office. The same day you had your appointment. He followed me, Rachel whispered, to confirm my schedule. We think so, and these texts, Nicole showed the screen, sent from the burner to Ashley's phone, deleted immediately, but we recovered them from backup servers. The messages glowed on the screen, cold, calculated, damning. When is she due again? February, twins. If something happened before then, insurance pays double. Accidents happen. Pregnant women fall all the time. Rachel's vision blurred. Her breath came short, sharp. The twins kicked, hard. They knew their mother's heart was breaking. Breathe, Jack said, moved to her side, placed a steady hand on her shoulder. Square breathing, in for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, hold for 4. Rachel followed his breathing, matched his rhythm. Slowly, the panic receded. I married him, Rachel said. I loved him, I trusted him. He fooled everyone, Margaret said gently. Charming men usually do. How long until we have enough evidence, Rachel asked. Detective Harris says soon, Jack replied. She's building a case, but she needs more. She needs Ashley. We need Ashley to crack, Nicole said. Right now it's all circumstantial. Good circumstantial, but not enough for attempted murder charges. Rachel looked at the evidence spread across 3 laptops, at the proof of betrayal, at her life dissected and analyzed like a case study. What do I do? Rachel asked. Just wait here, keep pretending? For now, Jack said, until we have enough to move, until you're safe. I'm not safe now, not in this house, not with him. Then you leave, Margaret said firmly. Tonight, when he's asleep. Pack a bag and leave. He'll know something's wrong. He'll what? Jack's voice carried steel. Military command. Come after you? With your father and Detective Harris and a court order watching every move? He's not that stupid. He tried to kill me, Rachel said. That's pretty stupid. No, that's desperate. Different thing. Jack crouched beside her, eye level. Desperate people make mistakes. We're going to use those mistakes against him. Rachel's phone buzzed. Text from Brendan. Running late, deposition going long. Order dinner. I'll be home by 8. Another buzz. Unknown number. It's Ashley. He doesn't know I have your number. We need to talk. It's important. Rachel stared at the message. At the mistress reaching out. Bold. Brazen. It's a trap, Nicole said immediately. Maybe, Jack said. Or maybe she's having second thoughts. Attempted murder is a lot different than an affair. What should I say? Rachel asked. Detective Harris would want this. Evidence of contact. Proof of Ashley's involvement. Rachel typed back. About what? 3 dots appeared. Ashley typing. Then stopping. Then typing again. About Brendan. About what happened at the train station. I know you think I pushed you. I didn't. But I know who did. Rachel's heart hammered. Is she saying Brendan did it? Could be a confession. Could be misdirection. Jack read over her shoulder. Ask her to meet in person. Rachel typed, meet me, somewhere public. Tomorrow, 2 p.m., coffee shop on Main Street. Come alone. Rachel showed the message to Jack. You won't be alone, he said. I'll be there. Nicole will be there. Detective Harris will be there. But Ashley won't know that. She's going to tell me something, Rachel said. Something that changes everything. Maybe, or maybe Brendan sent her to feel you out. See what you know. Jack stood. Either way, we'll be ready. Margaret started packing up the laptops. Evidence secured, plans made. Stay with me tonight, Margaret said. Both of you. Tell Brendan you need to be with family. He can't argue with that. He will argue, Rachel said. He'll want me here, under his control. Then we make it sound like doctor's orders, stress reduction, family bonding. Nicole pulled out her phone. I'll text him from your phone. Say your grandmother insists. Old lady guilt works every time. Rachel nodded. Let Nicole type the message. Sent it before she could second guess. Brendan's response came fast. If that's what you need, I'll stop by tomorrow with fresh clothes. Perfect, Jack said. We'll have time to prepare for the Ashley meeting. They packed quickly, essentials only. Rachel moved through the house she'd lived in for 4 years. Every room held memories now twisted into lies. The kitchen, where Brendan proposed. The bedroom where they'd made love before it became mechanical. Before he started checking his phone during sex. Before late nights at the office became code for hotel rooms with Ashley. She grabbed her laptop, her phone, the photo album from before the marriage, when she'd still been Rachel Sullivan, before she became Rachel Morrison, before she let Brendan reshape her into his ideal wife. Ready? Margaret asked from the doorway. Yes, Rachel said. I'm ready. They left through the back door. Jack checked the street. All clear. They moved quickly to Margaret's car, parked 1 block over. Rachel looked back at the house, at the life she was leaving. Good riddance to bad rubbish, her mother used to say. Second thoughts? Nicole asked. No, Rachel said firmly. No second thoughts. They drove to Margaret's house, small, cozy, filled with photos Rachel had never seen. Photos of Jack in uniform. Photos of Rachel as a baby, as a child. School pictures Margaret must have requested from Rachel's grandmother on her mother's side. You kept all of these? Rachel asked, touching a frame. Of course, Margaret said. You're my granddaughter. Jack's my son. Family doesn't disappear just because they're not in the room. Rachel's eyes burned. She picked up a photo from her 8th birthday, the last birthday before her mother died, before Jack left. She and her parents smiling, happy, together. You look so much like your mother, Margaret said softly. She would be proud of you, of your strength. I don't feel strong, Rachel admitted. I feel terrified. Strength isn't the absence of fear, Jack said. He stood in the doorway, changed from the conductor uniform into jeans and a flannel shirt, looking more like a father than a hero. Strength is doing what needs to be done despite the fear. What needs to be done is stopping them, Rachel said, before they try again. We will, Jack promised, together. That night, Rachel slept in a guest bedroom that smelled like lavender and old books. The twins kicked and rolled, restless, sensing their mother's tension. We're safe here, Rachel whispered to them. Your great-grandmother and your grandfather are protecting us. Family. She'd been alone for so long, trusting only Brendan, believing he was enough. But he'd never been enough. He'd been a cage disguised as comfort. Tomorrow she'd meet Ashley. Tomorrow she'd get answers. Tomorrow the cage door would finally open. Rachel closed her eyes. Practiced square breathing. In for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, hold for 4. And for the first time in days, she slept without nightmares. The coffee shop on Main Street bustled with afternoon traffic, students on laptops, business meetings, normal people living normal lives. Rachel sat at a corner table. 2 p.m. exactly, decaf latte untouched in front of her, 7 months pregnant and showing, vulnerable, alone. Except she wasn't alone. Jack sat 3 tables over, reading a newspaper like a relic from the pen, baseball cap low, sunglasses on, but his eyes tracked every movement, every person who entered. Nicole perched at the counter, phone out, pretending to scroll social media, actually recording everything. Detective Harris occupied a table by the window, laptop open, working, watching. Ashley Keller arrived at 2:15, deliberately late, power move. She wore yoga clothes, fit, athletic, young, everything Rachel wasn't feeling at 7 months pregnant. Ashley ordered a green tea, sat across from Rachel, sunglasses on, hands shaking slightly. "Thanks for meeting me," Ashley said, voice nervous, higher pitched than Rachel expected. "You said you know what happened at the train station," Rachel said, direct, no games. Ashley glanced around, checking for listeners. Rachel kept her expression neutral. "I need to tell you something," Ashley said. "Something important." "I'm listening." Ashley leaned forward, lowered her voice. "Brendan didn't push you. I didn't push you. But I know who did." Rachel's pulse quickened. "Who?" "Brendan's other girlfriend," Ashley said. The coffee shop noise faded. Rachel's world narrowed to Ashley's face, the words she'd just spoken. "Other girlfriend? He's been seeing someone else for months. I thought it was just me and you, but there's a third woman." Ashley pulled out her phone, showed photos. A brunette, 30s, professional looking. "Her name is Christine, works in his office building, different firm." Rachel's mind raced, processing, analyzing. "You expect me to believe there's another woman? That you're just an innocent victim?" "I'm not innocent," Ashley said quickly. "I knew he was married. I knew about you, but he said you two were separating, that the marriage was over, that you were keeping the pregnancy to trap him. Classic lies, textbook manipulation. And you believed him," Rachel said. "I loved him," Ashley's voice broke. "I thought he loved me. But then Christine showed up, and suddenly Brendan was pulling away, making excuses, choosing her over me. So you pushed me into a train?" Rachel's voice rose. People turned. She lowered it again. "Because you were jealous?" "I didn't push you." Ashley's hand slammed the table. Tea sloshed. "I was there. I saw it happen. But I didn't do it. Christine did." Rachel sat back, studied Ashley's face. The desperation, the need to be believed. This was misdirection. Classic redirect blame. Create doubt. "Prove it," Rachel said. "I can't. Not yet, but I will." Ashley stood. "Brendan is dangerous. He's using all of us. And when he's done, he'll throw us away, like garbage." "Is that what happened? He threw you away?" "He's trying to, but I won't let him." Ashley's jaw set. "I won't let him get away with this." She walked out, fast, agitated. Jack followed 3 seconds later. Subtle, professional. Nicole slid into Ashley's empty chair. "That was weird," Nicole said. "Total deflection." "She's lying," Rachel said. "There's no Christine. She made that up." "Maybe, but why?" Nicole watched through the window, Ashley climbing into a car, Jack trailing on foot. "What does she gain?" Detective Harris joined them, closed her laptop. "She gains time," Harris said. "If we're looking for a Christine who doesn't exist, we're not building a case against her." "She's scared," Rachel said. "Brendan must be pressuring her, maybe threatening her." "Desperate people make mistakes," Harris agreed. "Let's see what mistakes she makes next." Rachel's phone buzzed, text from Brendan. "How was your grandmother's? Feeling better? I'll bring dinner tonight. Your favorite. Miss you." The casual normalcy felt obscene, like he hadn't tried to have her killed, like their marriage was real. "He's checking in," Rachel showed the phone to Harris, "making sure I'm still playing along." "Good. Keep playing." Harris stood. "I'm getting a warrant for Ashley's phone records. Her computer. Everything. If there's evidence, we'll find it." After they left the coffee shop, Rachel returned to Margaret's house. Exhaustion hit like a wall. Emotional fatigue, physical strain. The twins seemed to absorb her stress, kicking constantly, restless. "You should rest," Margaret said, guiding her to the couch. "Can't. Too much in my head." But her body disagreed. Within minutes, Rachel drifted off. Not peaceful sleep, fitful, dreaming of trains and falling and hands pushing her into darkness. She woke to voices, low, urgent, coming from the kitchen. Jack and Detective Harris, talking fast. Rachel stood carefully, moved toward the voices. "Following her now, Sherma," Harris was saying. "She went straight to Brendan's office, stayed for 40 minutes, then drove to a storage unit on the east side." "What's in the unit?" Jack asked. "We're getting a warrant, but I'd bet money it's evidence. Something she's hiding from us." Rachel appeared in the doorway. "What did you find?" Jack turned. "Ashley went to see Brendan after the coffee shop. They argued, loud. Security cameras at his building caught some of it. What did they argue about? You, the meeting, what you said. Harris pulled up her phone. Audio was garbled, but we got some of it. Brendan was angry, told Ashley she was stupid for meeting you, that she'd ruined everything. He's turning on her, Rachel said. Looks like it. Desperate people make mistakes, Rachel finished. You keep saying that. Because it's true. Brendan and Ashley are fracturing. When they break, one of them will talk. Harris closed her phone. We just need to apply the right pressure. How? We set a trap, make them think we have more evidence than we do. Force their hand. Jack shook his head. Too dangerous. If they panic, they'll try again, Rachel finished. Her hand moved to her belly. They'll try to kill me again. Not if we control the situation, Harris said. Not if we're ready. Rachel met her eyes. What do you need me to do? Go home tomorrow. Act normal. Let Brendan think everything's fine. Harris laid out the plan. We'll wire the house, record everything, get a confession on tape. You want to use her as bait, Jack said, voice hard, disapproving. I want to get justice, Harris corrected, and this is how we do it. Rachel looked between them, her father, the detective, both trying to protect her in different ways. I'll do it, Rachel said. I'll go home. Rachel, no, Jack started. Yes, because this ends now, one way or another. That night at 2 a.m., Rachel couldn't sleep. She sat in Margaret's kitchen, drinking chamomile tea, trying to calm the anxiety churning in her gut. The kitchen door opened. Jack appeared, also unable to sleep. Rough night? He asked. Every night is rough lately. Rachel gestured to the chair across from her. Join me. Jack sat, hands wrapped around his own mug. Coffee, black. Military habits die hard. I don't want you going back there, Jack said. It's too dangerous. I know, but Harris is right. We need evidence. Real evidence. At what cost? If something goes wrong, then you'll be there. You and Nicole and half the police force. Rachel met his eyes. You promised you wouldn't leave again. This is not leaving. This is helping. Jack's jaw worked, fighting against his protective instincts. Your mother would kill me, he finally said. Using you as bait. She'd absolutely kill me. Mom would understand, Rachel said softly. She was practical, logical. She'd say, do what needs to be done. She was also fierce, protective. She'd say, protect my daughter at all costs. You did protect me, at the train station. Now I need to protect my babies, and I can't do that if Brendan is free, if Ashley is free, if they get away with this. Jack reached across the table, took her hand. His grip was strong, steady, the grip of a soldier, a father. I'm proud of you, he said. Your strength, your courage, you're more like your mother than you know. Rachel's eyes burned. I'm terrified. Good. Fear keeps you sharp, keeps you alert. Jack squeezed her hand. But you're not alone in this, not anymore. They sat in the kitchen until dawn broke, father and daughter, making up for 24 years of silence, finding each other again in the worst possible way, but finding each other nonetheless. The next morning, Rachel packed her bag, prepared to return home, to the house she shared with Brendan, to the cage disguised as comfort. Margaret hugged her tightly. You call me every hour, every hour. I will. And if anything feels wrong, anything at all, you leave. You run. I promise. Nicole drove her home. They didn't talk much, just sat in comfortable silence. Friendship that didn't need words. I'll be parked on the street, Nicole said when they arrived. You won't see me, but I'm there. Thank you. That's what best friends do. Stake out houses, record murder confessions. Normal Tuesday stuff. Rachel laughed despite everything, climbed out of the car, walked up the driveway. Brendan opened the door before she reached it. Perfect husband. Perfect smile. Welcome home, he said. Rachel stepped inside. The door closed behind her. The trap was set. Brendan was attentive, almost obsessively so. He made lunch, asked about her stress levels, checked her blood pressure with the home monitor. Perfect concerned husband. Rachel played along, smiled when he smiled, ate the food he prepared, let him fuss over pillow placement. On the couch. I'm so glad you're home, Brendan said, sitting beside her. I missed you. Missed you too, Rachel lied smoothly. Her phone sat on the coffee table. Screen up, recording. The app Nicole had installed looked like a meditation timer, but it captured everything. Audio, video, sending directly to Detective Harris. Brendan's phone buzzed. He glanced at it, frowned. Work? Rachel asked innocently. Yeah, client emergency. He stood. I need to take this. Back in a minute. He stepped into his office. Closed the door. Rachel heard his voice through the walls. Low, urgent, angry. She couldn't make out words, but tone spoke volumes. He emerged 10 minutes later. Tension in his shoulders. Forced smile. Everything okay? Rachel asked. Fine. Just office drama. Brendan checked his watch. I need to run out. Meeting with a client. Be back in a few hours. Now I just got home. Can't be helped. Important case. You understand. He kissed her forehead, grabbed his keys. Rest while I'm gone. I'll bring dinner. He left, fast, door closing firmly behind him. Rachel counted to 60, then called Jack. He just left, she said. Something spooked him. I know, I'm following him. Jack's voice came through her earpiece, nearly invisible, flesh-colored, in Detective Harris's idea. He's driving toward Ashley's apartment. He's going to talk to her. Probably. Harris has a unit watching Ashley's place. We'll see what happens. Rachel stood, moved to the window, looked out at the quiet suburban street. Normal houses, normal lives. While hers fell apart inside walls that looked so perfect from outside. Nicole's gray Honda sat 4 houses down. Visible if you knew where to look. Invisible if you didn't. Rachel's phone buzzed. Text from unknown number. It's Ashley. I need to talk to you in person. Now. Rachel showed the message to the camera, talking to Harris through the recording. She's reaching out again, Rachel said. What do I do? Her earpiece crackled. Harris's voice. Respond. Agree to meet. We'll be ready. Rachel typed, where? Your house. I'm 5 minutes away. Rachel's pulse jumped. She's coming here, to the house. Good, Harris said through the earpiece. Let her in. Get her talking. We need a confession. 5 minutes felt like 5 hours. Rachel paced, checked the windows, pressed her hands against her belly. The twins kicked, agitated, sensing their mother's fear. A car pulled up, Ashley's white sedan. She climbed out, looked around nervously, walked quickly to the front door. The doorbell rang. Rachel took a deep breath, square breathing. In for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, hold for 4. She opened the door. Ashley looked terrible. No makeup. Hair pulled back, eyes red from crying. Can I come in? Ashley asked. Rachel stepped aside, let her enter. Closed the door. They stood in the foyer. Awkward. 2 women connected by one man's lies. I lied to you, Ashley said without preamble. At the coffee shop, there's no Christine. I know, Rachel said. Brendan pushed you, or had me push you. I don't even know anymore. Ashley's voice cracked. It's all falling apart. Everything he promised, everything he said. What did he promise you? That we'd be together, that he'd leave you, that we'd have a life. Ashley laughed bitterly. Stupid. I was so stupid. You tried to kill me, Rachel said. Flat, direct. I didn't mean to. I mean, I did. But I didn't think. I just wanted you gone, wanted him to choose me. Ashley sat on the couch, dropped her head into her hands. God, what did I do? Rachel sat across from her, phone still recording, every word captured. Tell me every Rachel said, from the beginning. Ashley looked up, eyes swimming with tears. We met 18 months ago, office party. He was charming, funny, said his marriage was dead, that you two stayed together for appearances. Ashley twisted her hands together. I believed him. Every word, every promise. When did the plan start? To kill me? 3 months ago, after you found out about the twins. Brendan freaked out, said 2 babies meant 2 college funds, 2 of everything, that he couldn't afford it. So he decided to collect life insurance instead. He said it would look like an accident, Pregnant women fall all the time. That no one would suspect. Ashley's voice dropped to a whisper. He said we'd be together after, that we'd have the money, that we'd be free. But you were there at the train station. You pushed me. He told me to, walked me through it, where to stand, when to push, how to disappear in the crowd. Ashley's face crumpled. I loved him. I would have done anything. Rachel's hands clenched, rage building, hot, overwhelming. You tried to murder me and my babies because you loved him. I know how it sounds. I'm a monster. Ashley looked at Rachel. But he's worse. He's using me, using you, using everyone. The front door opened. Brendan walked in, stopped, stared at Ashley on the couch. What are you doing here? Brendan asked, voice cold, controlled. Telling her the truth, Ashley said. Ashley, don't. Brendan's voice carried warning. Threat. It's over, Brendan. It's all over. Ashley stood. I can't do this anymore. You don't know what you're saying. You're upset, confused. Brendan moved toward her, hands out, placating. Let's talk about this privately. No, I'm done talking, done lying. Ashley turned to Rachel. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry for what I did. Brendan's mask slipped. Rage flashed across his face, pure, undisguised. You stupid girl, he hissed. You've ruined everything. You ruined everything, Ashley shouted. You made me think you loved me. I never loved you. You were convenient, useful, that's all. The words hung in the air, cold, brutal, honest. Ashley's face went white, then red, then white again. I killed for you, she whispered. You tried to kill for me, and you failed. Brendan's eyes cut to Rachel. She survived, like a cockroach, impossible to get rid of. Rachel stood slowly, back against the wall, phone still recording, capturing every word. You wanted me dead, Rachel said. Of course I did. Do you know how much money you cost me? How much your precious babies will cost? Brendan laughed, harsh, mean. $1 million, Rachel. That's what you're worth dead. Alive, you're just a drain. You're insane, Rachel breathed. I'm practical. There's a difference. Brendan pulled something from his jacket pocket. Small, metal, a knife. Rachel's vision narrowed. Pure survival instinct kicked in. Brendan, don't, Ashley said. Please. This has gone too far. It went too far when you failed at the train station. It went too far when you came here and confessed. Brendan turned the knife in his hand. Now I have to clean up your mess. The front door burst open. Jack Sullivan charged in, and Detective Harris right behind him, 2 uniformed officers following. Drop the weapon, Harris commanded. Gun drawn, aimed at Brendan. Brendan froze, knife still in hand, calculating. Deciding if he could get to Rachel first, Jack moved between them, blocking, protective, father to daughter. It's over, Jack said. Put it down. Brendan looked at the police, at Jack, at Rachel, his carefully constructed life collapsing. He dropped the knife, hands in the air, defeated. Brendan Morrison, you're under arrest for attempted murder and conspiracy to commit murder, Harris said, moving forward with handcuffs. Ashley sank to the floor, sobbing, broken. You too, Ms. Keller, Harris said to another officer. Take her in. They led them both out. Brendan silent, Ashley crying, both in handcuffs, both caught. Rachel collapsed against the wall. She sat in the hospital bed, fully dressed under the blanket, unable to relax. The same way she'd slept the last 3 months of her marriage, ready to run. Jack caught her, held her up. It's over, he said. You're safe now. Rachel looked at her father, at the man who'd left 24 years ago, the man who'd come back when she needed him most. She did what every woman does when the worst is over. She called her grandmother. Margaret answered on the first ring, like she'd been waiting 24 years for this call. We got them, Rachel said. Both of them. Thank God, Margaret breathed. Come home, sweetheart. Come home. Nicole appeared in the doorway, tears streaming down her face. You did it, Nicole said. You were so brave. Rachel didn't feel brave. She felt exhausted, traumatized, empty, but alive. She was alive. Her babies were alive. That was enough for now. The contractions started at 2 a.m., not Braxton Hicks, real labor, 30 weeks. Too early, 10 weeks too early. Rachel's water broke in Margaret's guest bedroom. Fluid everywhere, terror immediate. Call 911 or Rachel screamed. The babies, it's too soon. Jack appeared in the doorway, barefoot, alert, instantly awake like soldiers learn to be. What's wrong? Labor, it's too early. The babies aren't ready. Jack moved fast, efficient, called emergency services, grabbed Rachel's hospital bag, helped her down the stairs. Margaret emerged in her bathrobe, calm despite the crisis. I'll follow in my car, Margaret said. You go with your father. The ambulance arrived in 7 minutes. Paramedics loaded Rachel. Jack climbed in beside her when 30 weeks pregnant with twins, Jack told them. Water broke, contractions every 3 minutes. The paramedics worked fast. IV line, oxygen, fetal monitors for both babies. Heart rates are good, one said, but we need to get you to County General. They have a level 3 NICU. The ambulance screamed through empty streets. Rachel gripped Jack's hand, squeezed until her knuckles went white. It's too soon, she kept saying. They're not ready. They'll die. They won't die. You're a Sullivan. They're Sullivans. We're survivors. Jack's voice stayed steady, commanding. Listen to me, Rachel. You're going to get through this. They're going to get through this. The hospital appeared. Bright lights, movement, organized chaos. They wheeled Rachel straight to labor and delivery. Dr. Williams appeared, the same trauma surgeon from 5 days ago, now overseeing her emergency delivery. We're going to try to stop the labor, Dr. Williams explained. Give you steroids for the baby's lungs. But if we can't stop it, then we deliver, Rachel finished. 30 weeks, 4 pounds max, breathing problems, feeding tubes, months in the NICU. We'll do everything we can, Dr. Williams promised. They tried, medication to stop contractions, bed rest at a sharp angle, monitoring, waiting. But Rachel's body had other plans: stress, trauma, the physical and emotional toll of attempted murder and betrayal. Her body decided it was done being pregnant. We're going to section, Dr. Williams said at 6 a.m. Babies are in distress. We can't wait. Jack held Rachel's hand through prep, surgical scrubs on, cap covering his gray hair. Dad, Rachel said, first time calling him that in 24 years. I'm scared. I know, but you're not alone, not anymore. Jack squeezed her hand. I'm right here. I'm not leaving. The prison door had been unlocked all along. I'd been my own warden, believing I didn't deserve his protection. They wheeled her into the OR. Cold, bright, terrifying. The anesthesiologist administered the spinal block. Rachel went numb from the chest down. Ready? Dr. Williams asked. No, but do it anyway. As the surgery started, Rachel couldn't see, couldn't feel, just heard sounds, medical terms, equipment beeping, people moving with purpose. Then a cry. Small, weak, but a cry. Twin A is out, someone announced. Girl, 4 pounds, 2 ounces. Rachel started crying. Happy tears, relief tears, terror tears all mixed together. Another minute, more sounds, more movement. Another cry, stronger than the first. Twin B boy, 4 pounds, 11 ounces. Both babies crying, both alive, both breathing on their own. They're okay, Rachel asked, voice breaking. NICU will evaluate them, but they're breathing, fighting, they're strong. Dr. Williams appeared in Rachel's line of sight. You did good, Mama. They finished the surgery, closed her up, wheeled her to recovery. Jack stayed beside her, never letting go of her hand. You have a granddaughter and a grandson, Rachel said. I have 2 miracles, Jack replied. 3, counting their mother. Margaret arrived with Nicole, both crying, both relieved. Can I see them? Rachel asked the nurse. Soon, NICU team is stabilizing them. You'll be able to visit in a few hours. Those few hours felt like forever. Rachel dozed, woke, dozed again. Pain medication made everything fuzzy. When they finally wheeled her to the NICU, the babies were in separate incubators. Tiny, fragile, covered in wires and tubes, but alive. Moving, fighting. They're doing better than expected, the NICU nurse said. Breathing on their own, no oxygen support needed, temperature stable. They're fighters. Rachel reached through the incubator opening, touched her daughter's tiny hand. The baby's fingers wrapped around her thumb. Strong grip, instinctive. "Hi, baby girl," Rachel whispered. "I'm your mama. I'm here." She moved to the second incubator. Her son, slightly bigger, eyes scrunched shut, fists clenched. "And you, my little warrior. Welcome to the world." Jack stood beside her, staring at his grandchildren, tears streaming down his weathered face. "What are you naming them?" he asked. Rachel looked at her babies, at the children who'd survived so much already, who'd refused to give up despite everything. "Kate Sullivan Morrison," Rachel said, touching her daughter. "After my mother, your daughter-in-law." "She would love that," Jack said softly. "And Jackson Sullivan Morrison," Rachel continued, "after his grandfather, the man who saved all three of us." Jack's voice broke. "Rachel, you don't have to." "I want to. You came back when we needed you. You stayed. You protected us." Rachel met his eyes. "That's what family does." So I am. The days in the NICU blurred together. Rachel split time between recovery and her babies. Jack maintained a constant presence. Margaret brought food. Nicole handled phone calls and visitors. No one mentioned Brendan. No one talked about the trial coming. No one discussed the arrest or the charges or anything beyond keeping the babies healthy. Rachel pumped breast milk every 3 hours, even the midnight session. Not because she had to, because it was the one thing she could control. The one way she could help her babies when machines and doctors did everything else. 1 week passed, then 2. The babies gained weight, started breathing better, needed fewer wires, fewer tubes. "They might go home in 3 weeks," the doctor said, "if they keep improving like this." Home, Rachel didn't have a home anymore. Not the house she'd shared with Brendan. That was a crime scene by Mount. Evidence tainted. "You'll stay with me," Margaret said firmly. "As long as you need, the house is yours." "I can't impose." "You're not imposing. You're family. This is what family does." Sarah Brennan worked the overnight shift. Young nurse, kind eyes. She checked on Rachel during the 2 a.m. pumping sessions. "How are you holding up?" Sarah asked one night. "Barely," Rachel admitted. "I'm exhausted, terrified, barely keeping it together." "That's normal. NICU parents all feel that way." Sarah sat in the chair beside the pump. "Can I tell you something?" "Sure." "I was in a bad relationship once. Abusive. He controlled everything. Where I went, who I liked, what I wore." Sarah's voice stayed steady, matter of fact. "I thought I was trapped, that I'd never get out." "What changed?" "I did. I decided my life was worth more than his control, so I left. Took nothing but the clothes I was wearing. Started over from zero." "That must have been terrifying." "It was. But you know what was more terrifying? Staying, letting him kill who I was one day at a time." Sarah met Rachel's eyes. "You got out. You're safe. Your babies are safe. That's everything." "I don't feel safe yet," Rachel admitted. "You will, eventually." Sarah stood, "And when you don't feel safe, remember you have people who will protect you. That's more than most people get." After Sarah left, Rachel sat in the pumping room, 2 a.m. in a hospital, the same lonely, quiet space that existed in every medical facility. She did what she always did when overwhelmed. Deep breathing. But this time it was the SEAL technique her father taught her. Square breathing. In for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, hold for 4. She wasn't alone in her coping anymore. At 3 weeks, Kate and Jackson were cleared to go home. 5 pounds each. Healthy, thriving. Margaret's house transformed. Cribs in the living room, diapers everywhere. Bottles and pump parts covering every surface. Jack moved into the guest house in Margaret's backyard. Close enough to help, far enough to give them space. Nicole came by daily, brought meals, held babies while Rachel showered, did laundry, washed dishes, the unsexy help that mattered most. Rachel found a rhythm. Feed Kate, feed Jackson, pump, change diapers, sleep when they slept, repeat, endless cycle, but satisfying, real. Her babies, her responsibility, her family. 1 month after their birth, Ashley Keller's mother visited, hesitant, apologetic, carrying flowers that felt inadequate. "I don't expect you to see me," she said at the door, "but I needed to apologize. For my daughter. For what she did." Rachel could have closed the door, should have, maybe, but something made her step aside. Let the woman in. They sat in Margaret's living room. Babies asleep in their bouncy seats, peaceful, oblivious. Ashley was always obsessive, her mother said, with everything, school, work, relationships. She couldn't let go of things that hurt her. "That doesn't excuse attempted murder," Rachel said. "I know, I'm not making excuses, just trying to explain." The woman twisted her hands together. "She's sick, mentally, has been for years. I tried to get her help, she refused." "She chose this," Rachel said. "Mental illness doesn't remove accountability." "No, it doesn't." Ashley's mother looked at the babies. "They're beautiful. I'm glad they're okay. I'm glad you're okay." They talked for an hour. Difficult conversation. No forgiveness, just understanding. Rachel couldn't forgive. Not yet. Maybe never. But she could understand how parents tried and failed. How mental illness twisted people. How love could become obsession, could become murder. After the woman left, Rachel sat with Kate and Jackson, watched them sleep, their tiny chests rising and falling, alive, safe. She called Nicole. "Ashley's mother came by," Rachel said. And? "And I'm thinking about starting a support group for women in abusive relationships, women who need help getting out." "That's amazing," Nicole said. "But are you sure you're ready?" "No, but I wasn't ready for any of this. I'll figure it out as I go." Because pain needed purpose, trauma needed meaning. She could either let this break her or let it build something new. Rachel chose building. The trial began 3 months after the attack. Rachel had requested it be fast, wanted it over, wanted justice before her babies were old enough to understand. Detective Harris built an airtight case. Security footage from the train station, phone records, text messages, financial documents. The recording from Rachel's living room where Brendan confessed. Ashley Keller pleaded guilty. Attempted murder, conspiracy, 15 years in a mental health facility. Her lawyer argued mental illness, diminished capacity, obsessive love disorder. The judge showed little sympathy. "You made choices," Judge Martinez said at sentencing, repeatedly, deliberately. "You chose to pursue a married man, chose to believe his lies, chose to push a pregnant woman toward a moving train. Mental illness may explain your actions. It does not excuse them." 15 years. Ashley would be 42 when released. Rachel would be 47. The twins would be 15. Old enough to understand what happened. Old enough to know someone tried to erase them before they existed. Brendan Morrison refused to plead, insisted on trial, maintained his innocence despite overwhelming evidence. His lawyers tried every angle, argued the recording was entrapment, that Ashley acted alone, that Brendan was a victim of her obsession. The jury deliberated 4 hours. Guilty on all counts: conspiracy to commit murder, attempted murder, fraud, financial exploitation. Rachel sat in the courtroom gallery, Jack on one side, Margaret on the other, Nicole behind her. Family, support, the people who showed up when it mattered. Brendan turned when the verdict was read, looked directly at Rachel. No remorse, no apology, just cold calculation of a plan gone wrong. "They tried to make me disappear. Instead, they freed me from a marriage that was killing me slowly anyway." The sentencing hearing came 2 weeks later. Rachel took the stand, gave victim impact statement, detailed the years of emotional abuse, financial control, gaslighting, isolation. "The train station attack was attempted murder," Rachel said, "but the abuse started long before. It was death by 1,000 cuts, making me question my reality, my perceptions, my worth." She wore the same black dress she'd worn to their wedding. Not symbolism, just the only thing that fit 3 months postpartum. But the irony wasn't lost on anyone. I thought I was choosing love, Rachel continued, but I was choosing someone who saw me as an obstacle, an inconvenience, a problem to solve with life insurance money. Brendan's parents sat in the front row, crying. His mother kept shaking her head. Denial, disbelief. Their perfect son couldn't be a monster, but he was. And they were just beginning to see it. He's not sorry, Rachel said. He's sorry he got caught. There's a difference. The judge agreed. Mr. Morrison, you planned and executed an attempt to murder your wife and unborn children for financial gain. You manipulated a vulnerable young woman into committing violence on your behalf. You showed no remorse, no accountability, no humanity. 25 to life. Eligible for parole in 25 years. Brendan would be 60 if he ever got out. The twins would be grown, adults with lives he'd never touch. After sentencing, Brendan's parents approached Rachel in the hallway. We'd like to see the children, Brendan's mother said. Our grandchildren. We have rights. Rachel looked at them, at two people who'd raised a murderer and couldn't accept what he'd become. Maybe someday, Rachel said. Not today, not for a long time. That's not fair. We're family. Family shows up. Family protects. Family doesn't try to kill you for money. Rachel's voice stayed calm, steady. When I'm ready, when the twins are ready, maybe then, but on my terms, in my time. She walked away, Jack and Margaret flanking her, Nicole trailing behind. Her chosen family, the people who'd actually shown up, on. The civil case came next. Life insurance company investigation. Policy invalidated due to fraud. No payout for attempted beneficiary murder. But Brendan's assets in the divorce settlement, the house, investments, retirement accounts. Rachel's lawyer was ruthless. Took everything not explicitly in Brendan's name. $500,000 when all was calculated. Not the million from insurance, but enough to start over. Enough to provide for her children. Rachel sold the house immediately. Couldn't stand being there. Couldn't walk those rooms without seeing ghosts of who she'd been, who she'd believed Brendan to be. She bought a smaller place, 3 bedrooms, fenced yard, near Margaret's house. Safe, comfortable, hers, no ghosts, no memories, just possibility. 6 months after the attack, 6 months since the train platform, since hands pushed her toward death, since her father caught her mid-fall and changed everything. Rachel stood in the courthouse lobby after the final hearing. Civil assets distributed, divorce finalized, papers signed, over. Nicole hugged her fiercely. It's done. Finally done. Finally, Rachel agreed. Jack approached with Kate in his arms, Margaret following with Jackson. Both babies dressed in matching outfits Margaret had sewn, 6 months old, chubby, happy, oblivious to the darkness they had been born into. Ready to go home? Jack asked. Home. The word felt different now, not a place, a feeling, these people, this family, this chance at something real. Yes, Rachel said, I'm ready. They walked out of the courthouse together, into afternoon sunshine, into a future that felt possible again. Rachel's phone buzzed. Message from the support group she'd started. 12 women now, meeting weekly, sharing stories, finding strength. Everything okay? Jack asked. Yeah, just the group. Someone new wants to join. Rachel looked at her father, at the man who'd been absent and was now present. Is it okay if I have them meet at the house tomorrow? I know it's a lot. It's your house, your group, your mission. Jack smiled. Use whatever space you need. I'll babysit. Grandfather, father, protector, all the roles he'd missed. Now fulfilling them with dedication that felt like penance and purpose combined. Margaret drove them home in her sedan, Jack's truck following, Nicole peeling off to handle errands. At home, Rachel fed the babies, changed diapers, set them down for naps. The endless rhythm of early motherhood. Jack knocked on the door around 7, brought dinner Margaret had cooked. Lasagna, garlic bread, salad. Grandma says you need to eat more, Jack said. Her words, not mine. Tell her I'm eating plenty. Tell her yourself. She's coming over tomorrow to teach you how to make her pot roast. Family. Showing up. Being present. The things Rachel thought she'd lost when her mother died. The things she'd found again in the ashes of attempted murder. They ate dinner together, babies asleep in bouncy seats nearby. Jack told stories from his Navy days, the ones he could share. Rachel listened, absorbed, learning her father through his history. "Thank you," Rachel said when he prepared to leave. "For everything, for being here, for not leaving." "Thank you for letting me back in," Jack replied. "I know I don't deserve it. Maybe not, but I needed it. The twins needed it." Rachel touched his arm. "We're family. That's what matters now." After Jack left, Rachel sat in the nursery, rocking chair by the window, watching the street. The normal suburban evening, people coming home from work, kids playing, life continuing. She checked her phone once, maybe twice a day now, not compulsively, just checking. The panic had finally left her body. No more counting to 100, no more pretending to sleep, no more walking on eggshells in her own life, just peace. Hard-won, expensive but real. Rachel closed her eyes, listened to her baby's breathing, to the house settling, to her own heartbeat, steady, alive, surviving, more than surviving, living, finally actually living. 6 months became a year. Rachel's support group expanded to 25 women. They met weekly in her living room, shared stories, offered advice, and became family for each other. Kate and Jackson grew, 16 months old, walking, babbling, tiny personalities emerging. Kate fearless, Jackson cautious, both healthy, both thriving. Rachel launched a consulting business, marketing work from home, flexible schedule, good money, independence she'd never had during her marriage. Jack lived in the guest house on Rachel's property, temporary that became permanent. He renovated it slowly, made it his own, but spent most evenings at the main house, helping with the twins, being present, making up for decades of absence one day at a time. Margaret visited 3 times a week, taught Rachel family recipes, shared stories about Rachel's mother, kept the past alive while building the future. Nicole remained constant, best friend, godmother, the person who showed up before being asked. One afternoon in October, Rachel stood in her kitchen, twins playing with blocks in the living room, Jack supervising, coffee brewing, sun streaming through windows. Normal, peaceful, hers. Her phone rang. Unknown number. Rachel answered cautiously. "Hello? Mrs. Morrison, this is Christine Valdez. I run a nonprofit for domestic violence survivors. I heard about your support group. We'd like to feature your story in our newsletter, if you're willing." Rachel glanced at the living room, at Jack on the floor with the twins, at Kate stacking blocks while Jackson knocked them down, at the life she'd built from the ashes of attempted murder. "I'm willing," Rachel said, "but on one condition. You don't call me Mrs. Morrison. That's my married name. I'm Rachel Sullivan now." "Rachel Sullivan," Christine repeated. "I like that, starting fresh." "Something like that." They talked for 20 minutes, scheduled an interview, discussed how her story might help others recognize warning signs. Financial control, isolation, gaslighting, all the red flags Rachel had missed or ignored. After hanging up, Rachel poured coffee, joined Jack and the twins in the living room. "Who was that?" Jack asked. "Someone who wants to share our story, help other women get out before it's too late." "Good, that's important work." Kate climbed into Rachel's lap, sticky hands from juice, happy babbling, complete trust that her mother would keep her safe. Jackson followed, cuddly, sleepy from playing. He burrowed against Rachel's side. Family, real, imperfect, but present. "I've been thinking," Rachel said to Jack, "about returning to Union Station, to the platform. I'm ready to face it." Jack looked up sharply. "Are you sure?" "No, but I need to. Need to prove to myself that I'm not afraid anymore." "You were never afraid. Fear and courage aren't opposites. Courage is fear that takes action anyway." Navy wisdom? Life wisdom, learning the hard way. The next day, Rachel arranged it. Saturday morning, Jack and Nicole would come. The twins would stay with Margaret. Safe, protected. Saturday arrived crisp and cool. Fall in the city. Beautiful. They drove to Union Station, parked, They walked toward the platforms. Rachel's heart rate climbed. Palms sweated. Her breathing shortened. Square breathing. In for 4. Hold for 4. Out for 4. Hold for 4. Jack took her hand. We can stop. We can leave. No, I need this. They walked to platform 9. The same platform. The same spot where hands had pushed her toward death. Where her father had caught her. Where everything changed. Trains rumbled past. Commuters hurried by. Normal people living normal lives, oblivious to the trauma that had happened here. Rachel stood at the yellow safety line, looked at the tracks, at the space where she'd almost died. I was terrified, Rachel said. That day, I thought I was going to die. Thought my babies were going to die. Thought it was over. But it wasn't, Jack said. You survived. They survived. Because you were there. Because you caught me. Rachel looked at her father. Why were you working that day? What are the odds you'd be the conductor on that specific train? Honestly, I don't know. I picked up an extra shift, covered for a colleague. Jack shrugged. Fate, luck, divine intervention. Call it whatever you want. I call it family, Rachel said. You were there when I needed you. After 24 years of not being there, you were there when it mattered most. I'll be there from now on, Jack promised. For everything. First days of school, graduations, weddings, all of it. No more absence, no more distance. Rachel turned from the tracks, looked at the crowd of people, at the station that had almost been her tomb. No fear, no panic, just memory, just proof that she'd survived. That survival was her superpower now. They thanked station employees who'd helped that day, the manager who called 911, the woman who'd held Rachel's hand while they waited for paramedics, the security officer who'd pulled the footage. People remembered. People cared. Strangers who'd shown up for a pregnant woman in crisis. Rachel left flowers at the platform, pink roses, for the life she'd left behind, the marriage that had been a lie, the woman who'd been too afraid to see the truth. Goodbye, Rachel whispered to that version of herself. Thank you for surviving. Thank you for fighting. Thank you for being strong enough to break. They left the station together. Rachel, Jack, and Nicole. 3 people who'd formed a family in the rubble of attempted murder. On the drive home, Nicole asked, How do you feel? Free, Rachel said simply. For the first time in years, I feel free. The twins' second birthday party happened at Margaret's house. 25 people, Rachel's support group, Jack's SEAL brothers, Nicole's family, neighbors, friends, community, connection, life beyond survival. Kate and Jackson smashed cake, laughed, played with cousins they'd never met before, children of Jack's military buddies, instant family. Brendan's parents had sent a card, requested visitation. Rachel hadn't responded yet. Maybe someday, maybe never. That decision was hers, her timeline, her terms. Ashley sent a letter from the mental health facility, apology, explanation, plea for understanding. Rachel read it once, filed it away, hadn't decided if she'd respond. Some wounds needed distance to heal. Some people needed to stay in the past. As the party wound down, Rachel found herself on Margaret's back porch, watching Jack push the twins on the swing set he'd built, watching them laugh, watching family happen in real time. Nicole joined her, 2 glasses of wine, one for each of them. Hard to believe it's been 2 years, Nicole said. Sometimes it feels like yesterday. Sometimes it feels like a lifetime ago. You did it, Nicole said. You got out. You built a life. You're thriving. We're thriving, you, me, Dad, Margaret, the twins, all of us. Rachel clinked her glass against Nicole's. Team effort. The sun set, golden hour, perfect lighting, perfect moment. Rachel's phone buzzed, text from an unknown number. Hi, my name is Jennifer. A friend gave me your number, said you run a support group for women leaving abusive relationships. I need help. I don't know where to start. Rachel showed the text to Nicole. That's your work right there, Nicole said. That's why you survived, so you could help her survive. Rachel typed back, I'm here. You're not alone. Let's talk. Because that's what survival meant. Not just living, but helping others live. taking pain and turning it into purpose, taking trauma and building something meaningful from the wreckage. The sun sank lower. The party continued inside. Jack brought the twins to the porch, both sticky, both happy, both alive despite someone's best efforts to prevent their existence. "They're asking for you," Jack said, handing Kate to Rachel. Nicole took Jackson. They sat on the porch swing. 4 people, 2 babies, 1 family. "Tell me a story, Grandpa," Kate said. She just started stringing words together. Her favorite phrase, "Tell me." "What kind of story?" Jack asked. "A brave one." Jack smiled, looked at Rachel. "I know a very brave story. It's about your mama." Rachel shook her head. "Tell them about Navy SEALs." "No, this one's better." Jack settled beside them. "Once upon a time, there was a woman who fell, but her daddy caught her baron, and you know what happened next?" "What?" Kate asked, eyes wide. "She flew," Jack said simply. "She got up, she fought back, she built a life. She became stronger than she ever knew she could be." Rachel's eyes burned. Happy tears, grateful tears. Tears for everything lost and everything gained. "The end?" Kate asked. "No," Rachel said, holding her daughter close. "Not the end, the beginning." 2 years became 3, then 4. The twins started preschool, Kate bold and fearless, Jackson thoughtful and careful, both perfect in their own ways. Rachel's support group became a registered nonprofit, funding from grants, office space downtown, 3 full-time staff members, helping hundreds of women escape abusive relationships. Jack retired from Amtrak, spent his days with the twins, teaching them SEAL breathing techniques when they had nightmares. Square breathing, in for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, hold for 4, family tradition now. Margaret celebrated her 84th birthday, still sharp, still cooking, still the matriarch who held everyone together. Nicole married a teacher she met at the twins' preschool. Small wedding, close friends, Rachel and the twins standing up front. Family witnessing, family. On a Tuesday morning in spring, Rachel returned to Union Station one more time. Not with Jack or Nicole. Alone. Facing it solo. She walked to Platform 9, stood at the yellow line, watched trains come and go, commuters rushing past, life continuing. A young woman stood beside her, pregnant, maybe 6 months, waiting for the train. "First time taking the train pregnant?" the woman asked, making conversation. "No," Rachel said, "but I remember my first time." "Was it scary? I'm nervous about the crowds, about falling." Rachel looked at her, saw herself 4 years ago, vulnerable, trusting the wrong person, believing in safety that didn't exist. "It can be scary," Rachel admitted, "but you're stronger than you know. If you fall, someone will catch you. And if they don't, you'll catch yourself." The woman smiled uncertainly. "That's oddly specific advice." "Personal experience." Rachel handed her a business card. "If you ever need help, for anything, call this number. There are people who will show up, people who will catch you." The woman took the card, looked at it. "Sullivan House, support for women in crisis." She looked up. "You run this?" "I survived this," Rachel corrected. "Now I help others survive." The train arrived. The woman boarded, waved through the window. Rachel waved back. She did what she always did when overwhelmed. Deep breathing. But this time it was the SEAL technique her father taught her. Square breathing. She wasn't alone in her coping anymore. She walked away from the platform, out of the station, into the morning sun. No fear, no panic, no trauma. Just a woman who'd survived attempted murder, who'd rebuilt her life from nothing, who'd found family in unexpected places, who'd turned her worst day into her life's purpose. Rachel Sullivan, not Rachel Morrison. Never that person again. Mother, daughter, survivor, advocate, fighter, alive, free, strong. The train rumbled past Platform 9, rush hour at Union Station. Rachel didn't flinch. She smiled. Because the same hands that pushed her toward death had pushed her into a life she never knew she deserved. Her father's hands, catching her, Finally, she finally understood. The fall didn't break her. The betrayal didn't destroy her. They revealed what was always there. A strength inherited from a father who never stopped protecting her, even from a distance. And now, with him beside her and her children thriving, she was exactly where she was always meant to be. Home. Not a place, a feeling, a family, a future, and the absolute certainty that she would never let anyone push her again. Not toward trains, not toward silence, not toward anything. She'd learned to fly instead. And that, she thought as she walked away from Union Station for the last time, was the only ending that mattered. Rachel's story didn't end at that train platform. It began there. She took the worst day of her life and built something powerful from it, a nonprofit that's helped hundreds of women escape dangerous situations. She transformed her pain into purpose. If this story moved you, inspired you, or made you think differently about strength and survival, do me a favor, hit that like button. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. Maybe it'll be the push they need to recognize their own strength. Drop a comment below. Tell me, what part of Rachel's journey resonated with you most? I read every single one. And if you want more stories about real courage, about people who refuse to stay broken, subscribe and turn on notifications. These stories matter. Your engagement helps them reach the people who need them most. Remember, you're stronger than you know. And you're never alone. I'll see you in the next story.